Yes, yes.
Ah,
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Oh yeah, got a smooth show for you today, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, sir.
Hey, but nothing's changed. Wipe your feet on the way in, which means smash that like button and hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Got that Zen music on. Oh, we're gonna smooth that thing out for you. I really feel like I could spit 16 bars to this, but
See, I knew you was gonna do it.
yeah.
And for those of you who really forget, if you got holes in your socks, please keep your shoes on.
Keep your
Take
shoes
your
on.
coat off.
Relax. There you go. There you go. We got a great show for you, man. We got a very distinguished guest today. This brother has a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding, if you will. We're gonna get into it. So yeah, like I said, smash that like button. We thank y'all for rocking with us once again to another episode of Mindfully Misunderstood. I'm your host, Sir Charles the God.
And I'm Cam 2 official like a referee whistle. You already know what it is, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yes. Now we during the time of this recording, we know most of y'all probably at work. But when you come on home, still nothing's changed. Make sure you smash that like button, wipe your feet on the way in, wipe your feet. Listen, I was first told about Reiki healing, the Reiki practice, if you will. I guess it's like a lifestyle of sorts, but we're gonna really get into it. And I had the great pleasure of meeting this brother. In fact, I took my daughter to him, and he did a session with her, and she really enjoyed it. And I felt like, man, a lot of people need to hear what this brother has to say and what he's doing. Chicago native, right. He right in the hood, man. Well, not in the hood, but you know what I'm saying. He's in the neighborhood. You can get some of his food. You can definitely check out his massages, his meditation, teaching. He's a teacher, but we're gonna get all into that. Without further ado, let's bring up Mr. ZenFrankie, ladies and gentlemen. ZenFrankie, what's up, brother?
Yo, peace, brothers. How y'all be?
Oh man, wonderful. How's any better I been having?
Good.
How you doing today?
I'm magical. Very magical today.
Okay. All right. So before we get into it, let me run down your resume, man. You're a vegan chef, Reiki master teacher, meditation teacher, Reiki massage, comedic yoga instructor, ambisonic sound healer, a musician. I didn't know you did music, brother.
I play 5 instruments.
You say what now?
I play 5 instruments.
Okay. We're gonna get into it. Herbalist, mycologist, and I gotta admit that I don't know if Cam wants to admit it, but neither one of us knew what mycologist.
I didn't know what it was, man.
We had to look it up. Yeah, and a botanist. I knew you were a botanist when I came to your place. I seen all the flowers. Very beautiful place, man. And you get hungry. Just being in your place, you get hungry. You're seeing all the I don't know why I got hungry, but seeing all the plants around. So, brother, how long have you, first of all, been now? Is Reiki a lifestyle or is it?
No, it's a yes, but it's energetic medicine. So you have to get trained and certified to do it.
Okay. So Reiki that's just one of the facets of ZenFrankie.
Right.
Reiki. Okay. All right. And not to be confused with because Reiki is not a religion, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So you can be a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, or whatever, and still practice Reiki.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, as far as being a Reiki master teacher, how long have you been practicing?
I've been practicing this since about 2012.
Okay. 2012. Okay. All right. So let's dive in a little bit into Frankie, well, ZenFrankie, or before you became ZenFrankie, Frankie himself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? If you want to drop your high school or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Will do.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm from the West Side. Grew up in the
Well,
projects,
you know
the
what?
row houses.
It's been nice having you. You said West Side. Hey, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, Cam, I'm sorry. Cam is a West Sider. I'm a South Sider, but no, go ahead, brother. All right.
Yeah, West Side. I grew up in those projects / row houses across from county jail. From there, I moved to Holy City, went to North Lawndale College Prep, and then from there, I moved to Berwyn. From Berwyn, moved to Brownsville, which is where I'm currently at.
Okay. And so now, what? How was your childhood? What and how did that shape? Did your childhood shape the lifestyle that you live now? Because I mean, you're a vegan. The things that you into. I mean, did your childhood kind of contribute to, like, were your parents vegan, or like, how, give us a little bit about your history?
Yeah. Nobody in my family was vegan until me.
Okay.
But plants, gardening, I learned from my grandparents. I learned how to cook from my mama and my grandparents. So that skill was developed early on in my childhood.
Okay. Man. So now when you say cooking, you said they were cooking like soul food. Were you cooking like
everything?
soul food?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So I learned how to flavor and master how to make food taste phenomenal for Black people because of them. So food is just food until spices and herbs are added to it. Once you master that, you master food.
Okay. So now, what made you make the change from eating just whatever, to saying, you know what, I'm going to do something different? What sparked that?
I had Crohn's disease. I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease back in 2000, my 8th grade year. And it came back in my senior year in high school, which is 2005. And then I had surgery in 2006. And then from there, I had felt some irritation in like 2011, which allowed me to go back to the doctor to see what was up. Just some ulcers, which I knew I could heal on my own. And so how this transpired was, I didn't like what the doctor said to me. So after my colonoscopy that I had, the doctor was like, your Crohn's is back and it's angry. And if you don't get on medicine, you're going to end up having to get another surgery. And I was like, nah, I've been sick before. This is. Is
it me?
No.
Oh. Brother. Yeah, you froze. Yeah, you had froze. You muted now. No.
Can y'all hear me?
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So you left off where you were saying that the doctor was saying you would have to have another surgery.
Yeah. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the energy of that doctor, and found out he's just a terrible doctor now that I know. But that's what gave me the inspiration to heal myself. Because I asked the doctors while I was going to the doctor, is it true that 60 to 70% of healing is in your head, in your brain? And they said yes. So I was like, okay, so if I strengthen my brain and tell myself consistently that I can heal myself while applying methods and a lifestyle that can enhance that, then I can do it on my own. And so the reason why I became vegan, it was a clear voice of God that was like, in order for you to heal yourself, You have to become vegan. I knew nothing about veganism at this time. Nobody in my family was vegan. I knew nothing about it, so I had to do all the research on my own. And so from there, that's when I knew to trust that inner wisdom. You know, that voice in our gut never discerns us. It only has our best interest. You know, your mind, your heart would send you off every single day. But that intuition, that wisdom right in our solar plexus never lies, never deceits you. So the more we listen to it, the stronger it gets. And so I kept listening. It was like, okay, now get into meditation. I became Zen Buddhist. And from there, I became a Reiki practitioner. Then from there, Comedic Yoga, and here we are.
Did you say Zen Buddhist?
Yeah, I'm Zen Buddhist.
So for the people at home who don't know what Crohn's disease is, what is that?
It's an inflammatory bowel disease. So ulcers, stomach aches, weight loss, vomiting, those are just a few symptoms that you can experience. And yeah, it's like my symptoms were vomiting, diarrhea, and low energy. I just, you know, when you don't have nutrients in your body, you don't have any desire to eat because your body's weak. And so that's what I was experiencing, like a very, very rapid weight loss.
I'm glad
I meant
you
to ask you. Yeah, I meant to ask you this, and we always like to ask our guests. And I wanted to ask before you got started, but it's cool. It's cool. We always like to ask our guests, how is your mental health?
Oh, it's great. I swear it is. It's the best it's ever been, because throughout the years I realized that self-love is the most powerful medicine. You know, we search for love in things and people and experiences, but once you understand that the love that I receive comes from source, comes from God, so it's always an overflow. I just simply have to be calm, still, and peaceful to tap in.
So now you, first of all, I'm glad you asked what Crohn's disease was, because I didn't know exactly. I hear about it, and but you know, there's so much that I didn't know about it. Now, when you say healing is in the brain,
Yeah.
Can you dive into that a little bit, because that implies that thinking, can you make yourself sick by thinking, and can you heal yourself by thinking? I mean, what?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, all of our sickness is formed and developed from our thoughts. Our thoughts have the power to create worlds. All this out here in this earth was created via thought. That's how powerful our thoughts are. And so since our thoughts are that powerful, negative thoughts, self-doubt, self-worry. Now,
No, he froze. It's not.
I want to make sure, because my screen kind of did a glitch. Yeah, you back muted.
can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it went out again. So yeah, the body responds to the mind. And so knowing that I have to protect my mind, feed positive things, feed lighthearted things, feed love into my brain, because the cells respond to both good and bad things. That's the duality of this universe. And in every human, we're masculine and feminine, we're positive and negative. And so negative energy sickens us. Anger, frustration, sadness, all of those things have a negative response to our bodies. Knowing this, and then helping people and letting people know I'm not your savior. It's all in your head. You have to believe that you can heal yourself, especially when you're in pain. That's the magic. That's the medicine. You have to believe it when you're not feeling your best.
Man, I don't think you know what you just did right there, because we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
About mindset, and you know, maybe not so much of how it affects us physically, but a lot of times we all know that we know that a lot of times we can imprison ourselves with our own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it starts. So So, but I really want to know more about this physical thing because I have physically made myself sick before. Like just a thought, like I'm thinking like, man, what was that I ate? And then next thing I know, I'm throwing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that the same can apply the other way around? That you can think yourself well, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And now you also said you heard God's voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you a religious person? And I don't want to, if I'm getting too personal, please.
No, not at all. Please,
Got me.
it's personal. Nothing is off limits.
Okay.
Absolutely. Religious and spiritual. I think oftentimes Black people, because of the trauma that we experience in the church throughout our lifetime, we try and steer away and shame the church, but it's magic, it's power there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what nourished our grandmamas to nourish us and nourish the community. All of that came from the church. And so we have to combine both this new self, this newfound spiritual self, this new awakening that we're experiencing as Black people, in combination with the old self, this Christian, this Baptist. Those prayers are powerful. The Christians figured it out. They know how to categorize demons, and they categorize them simply based on our emotions. So the spirit of anger is a demon, sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Mandrell, salute, brother.
Mandrell. Yeah, I know. That yeah, when I went to Brother Frankie's, yeah,
There we go.
I know your area. When I was at your place, your area, I was struggle streaming. My something with the area is like the internet. I don't know.
Yeah. It goes out right on my back.
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the last thing I think I recall saying was the Christians got it figured out. They know how to categorize demons based on our emotions because it's in every human. So just through their observance and the experience of different humans, they realized, okay, the spirit of anger, these are the characteristics. And these are the prayers that's required to get this demon out their body. And it's real. I've done the work and they've done the work. And so they made it so easy to be able to decipher and have discernment on when those things arise within us, because you never get rid of your demons. You just learn to live above them. They're all of us. It's part of this world. Both are God. We try and shame the other. You got to accept it. That's how you maneuver through this realm, accepting the bad as great as the good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you? So you are a Christian? Is that you also?
No, I'm not a Christian.
Are you a Buddhist? Okay,
Buddhist.
go ahead.
Buddhist, and I practice Lukumi, which is Europe, but a Cuban practice.
What can you spell that for me? Because
Lukumi.
Lukumi.
Yeah, it's Europe. Okay. It comes from West Africa. From West Africa, it went to Cuba, and nothing. They never took over Cuba, so whatever's that's in Cuba is potent. So, yeah, it's real. And it's simply connecting with nature, the Orishas, connecting with our ancestors, connecting with these forces that are always around us.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting. I never heard of Lukumi. Hey, I'm learning so much. I know we ain't gonna be able to get it all in one show, man. So I'm already seeing a part 2 coming.
Beautiful, I'm with it.
So now we talked about you becoming vegan and how pretty much you had to make that decision based on your health or what have you. So now as far as the other, like you becoming a Reiki master teacher, involving yourself in Reiki massages, and there's a list of other things that you do that are very interesting. I want to get into like the ambisonic sound healing, and that what brought about on your journey, what made you embark upon the becoming a Reiki master?
Well, Reiki level 1 is self-healing. So this was around the time that I discovered that I had those ulcers. It was like a couple of them. And so I had a cousin that was a Reiki practitioner. I experienced Reiki from him. And our teacher, this Latino woman, is in New York. So that's why I got attuned at. I would go to New York, like 3 years straight and get attuned. The attunements are about 6 hours, and you're in that level for a year until you move on, if you decide to move on to the next. So I was doing anything and everything to heal myself, to make sure that my brain and my mind was good and my heart was like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard that just quite the opposite of hurt people. Healed people can heal people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's important that you said, that, first you have to be healed yourself. Yeah. So now I got some slides here, and perhaps, so check this out.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that's my healing room. That's my family. When it was smaller, it's like 6 of us now. My meditation room called the healing room. I would host. I had a sangha, Brunsville Sangha. Sangha is a place that people gather with that are like-minded and just sit and in the meditation or whatever the spiritual practice is together. And so we would meditate, and it was all brown and black people. A safe space for us to really just be in our best, lighthearted, clear-headed selves. It was free every Friday. It started with like 3 people, and then it evolved to like 20-something people coming every Friday in that space.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So now is that we got
that's at the MCA Museum of Contemporary Art downtown. I had did this was during COVID. Me and Brandon Bro, this masterful creative from the South Side, hosted a meditation right in front, all black people. And it was beautiful. A choir sang. It was majestic.
Wow. Wow. Now the bowl in your hand.
Yes. That is a Tibetan sound healing bowl. Beautiful bowl. That's my favorite bowl. Very, very deep sound. And sound has the power to balance us out immediately. That's why when you listen to a song, it can either raise your frequency or lower it immediately. It's the only thing that can do that. Because sound, it connects with our cells. And so since it connects with our cells and it connects with our organs, it connects with everything else within our bodies to align it, to clear it, to transmute negative energy, to break up negative thought patterns and emotions. Sound does that. And those bowls operate of a frequency that really, really gets to the nuke of it all.
Wow.
So that bowl just kind of raises that energy.
Yeah. It does.
Now, is that so? And I might be mixing some things up, but like does that tie into like the 432 megahertz?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, is that the 432 megahertz? Is that like the healing frequency, or what is the what's the relationship with the bowl, and then is there a relationship between the bowl and that 432? Is it megahertz or hertz?
Yeah, hertz.
Okay.
You can, like, certain metals operate at certain frequencies, and so they're able to determine from that metal, that one single metal, what the frequency is. That bowl is many metals, so you can't determine the frequency because it's all those different metals collaborating and working together. And with the crystal bowls that they use, the real big clear bowls, those operate at a frequency because they're using a crystal. So we know the frequencies of these crystals. So that bowl is powerful.
Okay. Now, does that is the bowl what you used during the ambisonic sound healing?
Yes, that's one of the many bowls.
Okay.
I use like 6 different bowls. And I use the harmonica, I use the shaker ray, I use the steel drum, I use the shakes, I use what else? Oh, the glockenspiel. All these instruments I use, and I'm walking around you while I'm using them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So now for those of us who don't know, because I'm one of the ones who don't know, the ambisonic sound healing, what all is involved in that, and how? Okay, so like if I'm coming to you for the ambisonic sound healing, what am I looking to do? Like
Understood. Gotcha.
what the benefits, I should say? What are the
Yeah.
benefits of ambisonic sound healing? What is it exactly? And
Yeah. So ambisonic sound healing is that's the Reiki session. And you're lying on your back, and Reiki is just Reiki. Normally, it's no sound. People may have bowls, but it's light touches of the body. Your clothes are on. You just laying down on the table. What makes it ambisonic is me utilizing all of these sounds, all of these frequencies all around you. So all of your body is getting all of this energy from head to feet consistently throughout that session, throughout that experience.
okay. So the Reiki, there doesn't have to be sound with the Reiki healing.
Right.
That's
exactly.
all energy. Okay. All right. And then real quick, so what does Reiki mean, and where did it come from?
Got you. Reiki is an ancient Japanese way of healing. It's essentially the laying on of hands that they speak about in the Bible, and it comes from Japan.
Okay. So you mean to tell me Christians didn't invent that? I thought. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, and here's the thing, though.
Christianity. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. By me growing up in the church, I mean, Cam grew up in the church as well. We've seen a lot of laying of hands. I really didn't know that other people were doing that type of stuff, like or that it had another name or what have you. So, and that's energy. That's essentially what. So I did look it up. I think Reiki is like God energy or something like that. God, what is it?
It's just love. That's all it is. Because love is the only thing that can heal and balance the body. It's the only thing that can. So that's all it is. So I'm in tune to tap into the frequencies and getting the energy from the sun, from the plants, from the flowers. All these elements around me flow through me. I'm just a channel, just a vessel. Flows through me. And since energy is intelligent, it naturally knows where to go. Yeah.
Okay. So you got something, Cam?
So for and I really want to know this for me, for meditation, how does that, like, how do you break that down?
Meditation for me is sitting with self in silence, and sitting with self is sitting with God, because God speaks to us when we're in a calm state, when it's quiet, not when things are chaotic. And so in order to tap into that frequency, those downloads, you have to be still. And often, because of this world that we live in, a lot of us have a challenging time being still. And so meditation allows us to just exist with no expectation. You're not trying to solve anything. You're simply sitting just to sit and be. A reset. So
for a person that is, like, for me, I know, like, I'm a scatterbrain, right? How do you calm the mind to get into a place of peace? Well, there's many techniques that you can utilize to transmute overthinking. And one of them is, when thoughts arise, you send that energy out and you instill it with a positive thought, and or you count your breaths in increments of 10. So inhale, exhale, one breath, and you can do that from 1 through 10 throughout the duration of whatever time you chose to meditate. We often need to distract ourselves. And so these are just things to distract our mind, because the mind mirrors the universe, which is infinite. It never turns off. Even when you sleep, it's always working. That's why in your dream realm and the sleep realm, it feels real, because it is.
Mm. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Cam, because I'm a scatterbrain as well. Like I try to meditate, and then next thing I know, I'm thinking about something else or something that whatever.
Yeah.
And so counting the breaths, great technique.
Okay.
Now, how does meditation differ from prayer?
Prayer it's another energy. Prayer is so potent, it's so powerful that it can heal you in that moment. It can trigger something within your cells that ignite you, because the voice is an instrument, and based on that instrument from that individual, how powerful they are, that prayer can change and shift your life, and it often does throughout world. All practices, religion, spiritual, pray, all of them.
Okay. All right. Now, I mean, because I actually read somewhere, and let me know if you agree with this, that meditation it comes from within, and
Yes.
prayer is something that comes from without. Like you're seeking.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, okay. All right. And then, so how often do you meditate, and for how long?
It's based on the day. I've been doing this for a while now, so I don't need to just sit. I can cook, or I can be cleaning. And as long as I'm present minded, meditation is fully being present. So in those moments, I'm focused on my breath when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning, I'm just present with my breath. That's meditation. You don't have to sit.
Yeah. So that's what's meant by walking meditation. I've actually heard that, but I didn't know what it really meant.
So I got a question. Okay, so I have moments where it is completely silent in my head sometimes. And I could be doing a million different things, but it's completely silent. And I noticed that, like, my wife was talking to me the other day, and I was listening to I was listening to some video on YouTube, but it was completely silent. And she was talking to me the whole time, and she like, I looked at her and I saw her mouth moving, and I was like, "What'd you say?" She was like, "And you were just ignoring me." I'm like, "No, it was just, I literally couldn't hear anything. It was just silent."
That
might be a health condition. No, I'm just
So I just, when he said like, walk in meditation, it's like that's what triggered in my head, because like sometimes I could literally be doing a couple different things, but I'm the most calm in those moments.
Absolutely. That was meditation, I would say. Unintentionally, oftentimes spirit puts us in these states for us to replenish ourselves. Yeah. So that's, for me, I feel that's what that was for you.
That puts me in the mind of flow state, or what the Taoists call what they call it. Hold on, I just had it at the tip of my tongue. Wu Wei. Wu Wei, meaning
What's that? I'm not sure. What is that?
Oh, okay. So I studied Taoism too. So I'm kind of, I'm all over the place. But Wu Wei is meaning like no effort or no work. It's kind of like when Mike Jordan played the flu game, he was in the zone.
Yeah.
He's in the zone. It's like he's doing something at his, and he's being very effective, but he's zoned out. Like, and I remember him when he said after the game, he said the rim was just so big, like it didn't matter where he was. Hey, 3-point, half court, whether he's just he was in flow state, and the Taoists call that Wu Wei. Don't ask me how to spell it. I know I can listen. Yeah, I just listen to it a lot. And so that kind of puts me in the mind of flow state. Is that kind of like, is that a similar experience? Like
yes.
Yeah.
I think that's when you're operating within your purpose, fully, lovingly, that's what it becomes. Yeah, that it becomes a meditative practice. So whether it's a musician or a jazz musician who says something similar, where they can't even hear the sound around them, they're just playing. Mike Tyson says something similar, like the boxing gods called him to do that. It's the same thing. No matter, you just have to love it and truly truly have your whole mind, heart invested into it, and that's what it becomes. Like nothing outside of you can disturb you, can detour you, can throw you off, because you're operating at a high frequency within that realm.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. I'm kind of getting chills down my spine.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this. I love this type of stuff for real. You know, and that's why, seriously, when I came to your place, dude, I was like so in awe of how everything was decorated. Like the vibe that I felt, it was just like I don't know how to.
It's a vortex.
Like at peace. I
Yeah,
felt
it's
like
a vortex.
and I'm like, man, I would love to have my place like this. Like it was just, I don't know. It just felt so peaceful. Now, hold on, let me turn that off. This right here.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Is that sage?
No, that isn't.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, that is sage. It's either sage or it's frankincense and myrrh. It's one of the two. That's often what I use.
Okay.
Before I do a workshop or lead a meditation.
So what are you doing here, and what is the purpose of the burning? Now, does the sage or the frankincense and myrrh are those? Do they give off? Do they serve different purposes? I guess I should say.
Yes, absolutely. All plants are spirits,
Okay.
and they operate at a certain frequency. Sage is here to. It's a masculine plant. It's a masculine scent. It's a masculine frequency, and it removes negative energy, and it also clears up 99.9% of bacteria in the space. Frankincense is a feminine scent. It's sweeter. It invokes love. It invokes peace. It invokes joy, and it makes you feel real good because of how sweet the scent is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so having studied quite a bit of the yin and the yang, the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy, I had never heard of plants being masculine and feminine. Or is that all plants or
all plants?
All
plants are either masculine or feminine. And they are in Europe, but we classify them based on the elements. So it can be a plant for air. It can be a plant for grounding the earth. It can be a plant for fire, for to excite you, like cinnamon or cayenne pepper. It can be a plant that's cooling, like aloe vera is a cool energy plant. All plants can be categorized masculine, feminine, and based off the elements.
So sage I heard has been used to eliminate spirits or evil spirits, if you will.
Yeah.
So I just think it's ironic that they send the masculine to combat the demons. Masculine to combat the demons. Is that and that is that? The sage. I'm not getting that correct. Sage does chase away evil spirits,
negative energies. Absolutely.
Negative energy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And because remember what I said earlier. Also, the masculine. One of my favorite books, the books that really shifted my perspective of masculine and feminine, is The Way to Superior Man, Mastering Work, Women, and Sexual Desire. That book, it truly, the essence of the book is for the masculine to give love achingly. Give it achingly. When you're hurting, don't go into your shadow self beautiful. Don't go into your heart self. Don't harden your heart. Keep your heart open and expansive, because that's what we're here to give, the love from our heart. That's why when a man sings, it can promote tremors in a woman's body. It can truly align, and you can cry from that because it's a frequency.
of love from that masculine voice, from that masculine spirit, when we operate out of our divine king self, our divine God self. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where my man Cam went. I hope I didn't drop him off by accident. But anyhow, okay, he said his computer just shut off. So,
too much frequency.
Yeah, right. Damn, that was the sage.
Right.
Oh, dang, man. So really quickly, this is you serving up.
Yeah.
So you actually operate a restaurant of sorts, or do you call it a restaurant, or do you just invite people to eat?
Yeah, it's called a restaurant. Zen Vegan is the name of it. So back there where you felt that energy at was the restaurant, and it's intentional how every plant is intentional. So every herb is intentional. So, and coming up the stairs, all the plants and herbs are edible. A lot of them on the back are edible, and that's intentional for you to really tap into the frequency of these plants and to really escape from your own reality of hurt or whatever it may be, and to grasp and to be fully present with the love. This is what I love to do. So when you come up there, that's what you're experiencing. You're experiencing the love from my heart. Yeah.
All right. Now one more thing that I found was really interesting, right, is that you forage.
Yeah.
Hey, well, first of all, I had never heard of Black folks foraging, right? Which is really, I find it very intriguing, very interesting. Now, is this you foraging? And what is that? What are you looking? Where do you go? What are you looking for? And what are you doing with it?
That's maitake mushroom. It has 100 times more vitamin D than all mushrooms, and the mushrooms are the closest to us in DNA to anything on this planet.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Closest to us in DNA.
I did not know that.
And
I mean,
so out there, eat everything. Yeah, even. Say it, even.
I mean, everybody say, like, I don't want to sound racist, but gorillas and what they call that, gorillas, chimpanzees.
From the difference between those animals in the forest and us is we all came from one ancestor, but we don't know what the ancestor is. Some of us chose to stay in the forest. Some of us left it and evolved from that. So we all have one common ancestor, but we don't know what that ancestor is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, isn't there such thing as poisonous mushrooms? I mean, we don't want to give people the idea that you can just go out in the forest and just grab mushrooms and get the nibbling on them.
Yeah, absolutely. With foraging, either the beauty about it is either you're 100% sure or you're not. So if you're not 100% sure, you're not going to pick it up. You're not going to touch it. Same thing for plants. It's poisonous plants. If you're not 100% sure what it is, you're not going to touch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so what makes a mushroom good for eating, or versus a mushroom that's going to make you hallucinate and walking sideways?
Understood. Well, medicinal and culinary mushrooms are categorized as such. Psychedelics operate another frequency. It's compounds in there that make it psychedelic. And they look similarly. They don't grow like this. But it's shrooms that grow like it's mushrooms that grow like shrooms. So either you know or you don't know. 100% of you don't touch it. And also you can touch every mushroom, unlike plants. You have to consume it for it to have an effect on you.
Okay. But they are poisonous mushrooms, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Santa Claus plant is one of them. The one that we often see is red with white spots on top. I forget the name of it. But yeah, that's one of them. But it's psychedelic. If it's consumed, you have to consume it a certain way. But deers eat it, and that's kind of like the story of the reindeers flying in the sky. Is these shaman will give these reindeers shrooms. Naturally, reindeers eat them because they can, or deers eat them because they can. We can't eat them, and so through our human observance, we saw like, oh, these animals are eating this mushroom, and they're shifting. They're moving a certain way. They operate in another frequency, another realm, and so humans tapped into that frequency with that mushroom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll tell you a little experience I had. Well, hold on. First of all, before we indict ourselves, some mushrooms illegal. Some mushrooms. Oh man, go.
There we go. Okay. Yeah.
So are some mushrooms illegal? Before I get to my story,
The psychedelics, yes,
they're illegal.
Depending on the state, yeah.
Now, okay, I'm sure you've watched that show, How to Change Your Mind, episode 2 on Netflix.
I have not.
What? Okay, all right. So this might interest you. This is all about the psychedelic mushrooms, or what they call it, the psilocybin or whatever that's in
Psilocybin, yeah.
Yeah. So, How to Change Your Mind, episode 2, and it essentially talks about, the government deems these things illegal because they actually heal people, right? Yeah. And if you think about American greed, the big pharma, anything that's going to go against big pharma, it's probably going to be shut down, and they're going to tell you it's unhealthy. But all of the crap that we eat here, well, I shouldn't say all of it, but most of the crap that we eat here is outlawed in other countries, right? Right?
Yeah.
Japanese care about Japanese people, Chinese care about Chinese people, so on and so forth. America cares about money.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why big pharma. There's down here in Kankakee. I live in the south suburbs, but down in Kankakee, they got this big pharmaceutical joint that they celebrate it because they're like a huge business for the community, but they're a drug company, right? They're and it's like I read the article and people were celebrating this pharmaceutical company expanding, and I'm like, it was sickening to me. So that being said, yeah, okay. So first and foremost, so I don't want to make an indictment. So let's just say I heard somebody by the name of Sir Charles, maybe, I don't know, that did a microdose, and he went to a restaurant, and like, dude, my that guy's hearing, forget it. My hearing was like heightened. I swear I heard people in the kitchen I don't know where the kitchen was, but and then another time, like, I took a walk on the path, and like everything was like heightened. I'm hearing the birds, the wind, everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
Now I thought about taking it another further and doing like a go all the way. I don't know if I should say it. Forget it. A trip.
There you go.
So I don't know if you can talk on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can talk freely about that. Yeah. Okay,
right.
Mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms.
Okay, so the trip, like, what would be needed to take a trip? Do you need a shaman, like a guide? Is it something you can do by yourself?
Yes, you can absolutely do it by yourself. And also you can utilize someone like me to support you in a ritual, which I host, and I do those as well. But with mushrooms, the beauty about them is you can OD from them. You can't die from them, no matter how much you consume. There is no after effect. There is no lingering effect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And and you can take them and show up to work, and they're gonna if they drug test you.
Nope.
They ain't gonna,
right? They can't nothing show. Nope, not at all. And with microdosing, which is consuming a small amount of psychedelic mushrooms, it's that and lion's mane mushroom are the only two things that we can consume that grow new neural pathways. Meaning,
it adds life to your brain. So it helps with dementia, helps with Alzheimer's, helps with clarity, helps with focus, helps with removing negative energy, and just makes you feel all around good.
I need to take me some of that.
Yeah, I got you.
Now the healing aspect of these mushrooms.
Yes.
Because I've actually there's a lot of stories on YouTube, but I actually know a guy who he did a full trip. After the trip, he became vegan, started a business, moved to Costa Rica, and he lives off the land. Like total 180 life change. I've actually heard of a story. I don't know this guy personally, but this guy had a really bad stuttering problem. Did a trip.
Paul Steinmetz. Yeah.
Do you call it a trip, or what do you call it?
No, I don't call it a trip. That's I say
A street talk.
Yeah.
So
and people are often afraid of that because of the negative connotation that's come with the lack of knowledge. That's mycology is the youngest science, and so we're still learning so much about it. And because it's the youngest, it's allowing space for all kinds of people to learn about it, especially Black people. I feel every Black person needs to experience shrooms to escape from the dogma, to escape from the routine, to add even more clarity, just open up their heart and their mind. And
wait, before you move forward, because I didn't catch what you said. You said you think every Black person should do what?
Experience shrooms.
Okay.
Psychedelic mushrooms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's beautiful, actually, because they, I got white friends, well, Caucasian or whatever. And they actually put me up on it, and so I started having that conversation among Black folks, and the people, they looking like I'm weird. Then I meet you. And I'm like, whoa, the first brother I know that, and I actually know, so these white people, they actually microdose daily. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Is that like you said?
Yeah, you're supposed to do 5 days on, 2 days off.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So is that recommended, or you said supposed to? Or is that?
Yeah, it's recommended so that you reset, so that you have space to not be attached to something. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But definitely check out How to Change Your Mind episode 2, and then you gotta let me know. You gotta let me know what you think. So now, in the way of the healing process of have you heard of any stories of someone being healed of something, I don't know, physical, mental, whatever, from using the mushrooms personally?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Paul Steinmetz, we consider him like a father of mushrooms. Kind of gave us a blueprint on what to study and how to study it. And so the stuttering person, that was him. And I've done rituals with people, and to resolve whatever that thing is that's blocking them, it's always in your head. And so since mushrooms, they allow you space to get out of your head or tap into another frequency within your mind to to be present in another realm, so you can just be observant of this realm and realize, I'm good here. My basic needs are met. I'm not missing any meals. It's often for a lot of us, especially in this country, we don't realize how blessed we are, that there are resources set up for us to not starve. That's not the case in other countries. The majority of countries throughout the world don't have that set up for their citizens. So we have businesses, we have the government promoting things for us to not starve. And but we don't realize how blessed we are as humans, as Black people. In terms of privilege, it's white people, and then it's Black Americans right underneath. Because when you travel outside, they call you an American.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you are. And since that, they know that America's going to bring us a certain level of wealth, a certain level of energy and freedom, because we have freedom, whether we believe it or not. We have freedom to move around. We have the freedom to be however and whomever we desire. That's not the case in other countries. You follow what your government say, and if you don't, your ass is done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facts.
Real. Hey, you said something. I see. I normally write down, but I was so like captivated by what you were saying. I forgot to write down what you said. Like, dang, man. Oh, and that's the truth, right? So a lot of times we like our poor people here are still crapping on the third world country poor. Like,
Don't even compare.
it don't
It's
it does
incomparable.
and you know, it's like we got a lot of first world problems here, and people don't really realize how blessed you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always think about. I took a little dive into what Paul said in the Bible, to pray without ceasing, and essentially the explanation I got was that to always be in a mind of gratitude and thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know, it's like to constantly be in counting blessings, if you will, just constantly counting blessings, man. And it amazes me that people aren't really aware of how blessed you are. You may not have all the money you want, but like I always say this, I got a cousin that uses a colostomy bag, and bro, every time when I go take a number 2 normally, I promise you, I'm thankful. It's like just that alone. People don't know how to count blessings, man. And that's very key to being successful in every way of health, wealth, and relationships, is being mindful of how blessed you are.
Yeah, and blessings are simply being present-minded, which is meditation. So me being present-minded of how blessed I am based on the surroundings, based on the tools, based on all the things that I'm able to consume. The fact that we can throw away food is a blessing.
Hey,
Dog, I'm not gonna lie to you. The first thing that I always go to, and I'm not gonna lie, and this might sound a little ignorant, but I used to hate seeing the commercials where they used to have the kids on, and they would say, for just 25 cents a day, you could feed, you know what I'm saying? And
it's a scam.
The first thing I go to, right, is I'm always saying, like, and I don't know why this pops in my head, but I always go to, the first one, I can take a hot shower. Right? In other countries, I don't know if that is even really possible. I get to take a hot shower, right? And I don't have to wash my clothes by hand.
Yeah.
And you can change your clothes.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, so like just those two things I think are, I mean, and it changes for everyone, obviously. But like when you think about the basic, like the real basic necessities that we, or the privileges that we have just from being here, a lot of people don't think like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then how blessed we are as men, Black men, to be able to be connected to the oldest being on this planet, which is Black women. That's a power in that, and that's why it's our responsibility to love them unconditionally, fully. Like, so many Black women have experienced so much trauma, and trauma by the hands of us. And so, since we're different than the man that existed before us, because we care and we express that we care and we communicate, and when we're our best. And so, knowing that, we have to have grace for our sisters. We have to allow space for them to be and release however they feel they need to release, because it's required, especially based on the way the spirit man, you give love from your heart fully and achingly. So if you've experienced a heartbreak, it matters not, because if you surrender to that pain, anger wins. And if anger wins, your body sickens, your mind sickens, your heart is open, it's full, your cells are ignited, you're able to fully heal yourself, and then the energy goes off to those around you. We're all vortexes, all of us, our own individual vortex. And based on the frequency of your vortex, you either allow higher frequency things in, and or lower frequency things in. Both the God, we like to separate high and low, like it's not a part. Everything on this planet was created by the one creator. Everything. All the spirits, everything. Nothing can exist without this creator. Nothing can.
I think it's funny that you say that, because I always, and I learned this from my brother Sir Charles the God. I put people in categories, right? And either, and I sometimes I feel bad, but other times, you know, I'm like, I don't necessarily feel bad. I always put people in the assets and liabilities, right? Either you're going to be an asset to me or you're going to be a liability to me, which means that you get limited time or you get limited effort from me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I find it very, very helpful when you can categorize people, because you know how to deal with them accordingly.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Real quick. So Dawn asks, am I understanding correctly? Is taking mushrooms an integral part of your practice?
Partially. Yeah. I would say more so the medicinal and the culinary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because all mushrooms, not all mushrooms. Yeah. All medicinal culinary mushrooms, scientifically proven, help cure cancer. And because the more you consume them, the better they work for you.
Mm.
I'm about
Okay.
to go buy some mushrooms today.
Yeah.
I actually got some, but yeah. So that's interesting. First of all, you touched on a good point that said that that we're blessed to even be able to throw away food. And I look at, you go to any restaurant, right? Most of us don't clear our plate, and that food goes right in the garbage. But it's also kind of disturbing, because if that's that one restaurant, then think about all the restaurants around. Then think about the restaurants around the country. People are throwing away food. The disturbing part about that is, how are they creating so much food that we could just throw it away? You know what I mean? So it makes me think about GMO, genetically modified food. You know, and I don't know if you ever watched Forks Over Knives or What the Hell, where they got these big ass chickens that they grow them so fast the legs can't keep pace with the weight, so they're just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yep.
you know, which it makes me want to go vegan, you know, for about a day, right?
Yeah.
and then I'm at Popeyes ordering a 3-piece spicy. So, I really want to do it. Okay, so that's the story I heard about. My guy who did what you say you're gonna call it a trip. What do you call it?
An experience.
Okay, so my guy had an experience and he became a vegan. I really want to become a vegan, and we're gonna right before we let you go, I'm gonna pull up these dishes. That some of your dishes, I couldn't get them all on here, but these mofos look delicious. Cam and I was looking at them like, man, hey, give me something to eat. Real quick, I got one question. Are you a minimalist?
Somewhat, not quite. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, there's different degrees.
Yeah,
I consider myself a minimalist, although I use a big ass TV for no reason back here, silly stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like a lifestyle where, when I seen you and I get your energy too, you're not bought into consumerism. You're not in comparison culture, because you in your own lane, you do your own thing, and largely that's part of minimalist, like living below your means or what have you, and you're really not consumer culture, man. We bought so much into consumer culture. Let me tell you something, real quick story. This is how messed up we are. Christmas time. Well, do you celebrate Christmas? You buy all these gifts and all that?
Yeah, I celebrate.
You
Christmas
do?
for the kids. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I don't really care. I don't really care so much about. I don't really care so much about a day when society tells me I need to buy people stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather do it on my own terms that come from the heart, because if there's pressure, people, I think people participate in Christmas a lot. Not saying everyone, but people participate in Christmas because there's pressure there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So quick story. I go to my cousin's house and his daughter's boyfriend needed a jump. And so I got a jump pack. So as I'm outside jumping the car, he was like, yeah, man, I've been needing a battery, but I had to buy all these gifts. And I'm like, what? Like, it reminds me of what my father would say, that a lot of times we suffer, we buy what we want and then we suffer for what we need.
Yeah.
And so I was just wondering if you had subscribed to minimalist lifestyle, or if you haven't thought about it like that. Because
yeah, I have. So then, based on that definition, I would say yes, because I'm consistently and constantly in a state of declutter. Like ridding things, ridding old weight, cleansing old emails, getting rid of old clothes, old shoes. Making sure the energy's light and it's flowing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, really quick. Well, Cam, did you have anything? I want to show these delicious dishes.
Nah, man. I want to see them now.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I couldn't pull them all up because he sent me a few. So that right there.
This is my favorite dish, hands down. I ain't even got to taste it, and I know it's good.
What are we looking at? Zen?
This is a chickpea stew with veggies and mushrooms on top of yellow rice. And then those are potato balls.
Okay. Now, what kind of potato are you using?
That potato, I often use a few different ones because all the different potatoes have different nutrients in them. So it's probably yellow, red, or russet combined. And it just like making mashed potatoes.
Okay.
And then I use split pea flour as a binder to bind them, but then I make them round, I fry them, season them up and all of that.
All right. Now I got a feeling every time I bring something up, Cam gonna say this is his favorite one.
Hey, bro, you don't understand when I seen them dishes. You know, I tell Sir Charles this all the time. I genuinely, so he didn't know that I really throw down when it comes to like breakfast food, and I love to cook. We went to a breakfast spot when we went to Atlanta, and I got eggs Benedict because I love eggs, right? So I was like, man, I really want to try this because I didn't like runny eggs until I actually got older. And I wind up cooking eggs Benedict myself, and that mug was bomb. And I was like, man, I'm always down to. I feel like I'm a person. I'm always down to try new food. Like even if that means that I spend the money and we don't like it, I'm okay with that because I was able to open my heart and open up my taste buds to not get the typical thing that I would get.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And also I would say, everyone isn't supposed to be vegan. Like no person, there is nothing, we're all different. We're our own individual God and goddess that lives within us. And it's different. We're all different expressions of the creator. So no one can ever be like you. They can mimic you, but they cannot be like you. And so the world isn't supposed to be vegan. We're simply supposed to eat more plants and veggies and fungi than anything else. That's all. That should be the majority of your diet. Yeah.
I would think that people who are vegan would see such great benefits that they would recommend it for everyone.
I recommend eating herbs, eating more veggies, eating more fruit, eating more mushrooms. But you don't have to subscribe to the whole diet unless you're trying to heal yourself from sickness or disease.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you. Well, okay. Well, I don't want to get it because we got to wrap it up. But and that's what I've actually heard, read, studied, watched YouTube videos of people actually healing themselves from cancer, high blood pressure, whatever. All of these disease by just going fully plant-based, high alkaline diet. And I just know as much as I'm a meatitarian, I love meat. I'm almost ashamed to say it in your presence, but
No shame, brother. No shame. No
yeah,
guilt.
I know for a fact I could give it up if it got to the point where I'm staring a certain sickness in the face. But I don't know why I don't have the discipline to like just do it now. You know, that's why I need some mushroom help.
Yeah.
So, but so
I think
real quick,
I think
let's
that
let's
goes.
describe. I got let me see this and then 3 more slides. What are we looking at right here?
What you about to say, brother?
Oh, I said I got this and then 3 more slides. What
this
what
is a indigenous Mexican tostada. The cheese I make myself. It's mushrooms on top of there. It's more mushrooms and veggies. It's like stacked like a double cheeseburger. Yeah, it's stacked up high. I'm high. Yeah.
Okay.
That is gumbo. Fresh herbs, flowers from my garden.
Okay. All right. Man, I look good.
Bruh, I
I'm
need
hungry
dishes.
That is a taco, a mushroom veggie taco with fresh flowers from the garden, fresh herbs.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I saved the most interesting for last because I thought, I don't know why I thought this was salmon, but I'm like, wait, he's a vegan. And Cam was like, man, that's fruit. Anyhow.
Oh yeah, that's watermelon sushi on top of wild black rice. And so I tapped into the frequency of sushi and I know how to make things taste fishy based on herbs, spices. And so I marinated the watermelon and Asian spices to make it taste like fish. And so when you bite, it don't taste like watermelon no more.
Wow.
And it's a cantaloupe in there too. Same thing for cantaloupe.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Man, look, we I got quite a few other
I'm about
photos.
I'm about to make me something to eat.
I swear, I'm hungry in the mug, man. So listen, ZenFrankie, brother. First of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Man, this has been a dope. I wish we had more time. I got so many more questions.
I got time for some more. If y'all got time, I got time.
Well,
we got time, man.
Oh, okay. I thought Cam had to go.
No, we got time.
Yeah. So now, first and foremost, your restaurant.
Yeah.
Are you open? I mean, what are your hours? How can people get some of these delicious dishes?
Yeah, it's RSVP only. We're very, very exclusive.
Okay.
So the hours is just, it's RSVP. So if I'm available during that time, I'll open during that time. So I moved it from the patio to the healing room where you saw us meditating at. People are adamant about me keeping it open because typically it's seasonal. It's just during the warm months where I'd be open on the patio. But people still wanted to experience during the cold months. So I brought it inside and I've been operating out the inside and it's been beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to spend by you, especially when Cam is in St. Louis. So whenever he was in town, we're gonna have to pull up on you, man.
Please do.
Yeah.
I think I got like a week. It's either this or not this week, but next week.
Okay. Yeah. So we definitely gonna be making some reservations.
Okay.
That being said, so now
I just need all the dishes at one time.
Yeah. Now with the you don't cook with the can you cook with psychedelic mushrooms? Or is there any utility in it? Like does that take away the psilocybin?
No, not at all. Yeah, you definitely can cook with them.
You can cook with them and it'll still have like the effect. Because I know like
absolutely
with marijuana, you can cook with marijuana and
yeah, same thing. Same thing.
Wow. I don't know why I thought you can cook it. You cook it like the potency out of it. So,
Mm-mm.
so is that? Have you ever prepared dishes with them? And I mean,
Oh
or
yeah. Smoothies as well. Can have an experience with a smoothie. With dishes, absolutely.
mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and
I got some stuff in my brain I think I should open up. So I might have to take an experience.
Yeah.
yeah, and people can book the experiences with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, now, the now, okay, so the being vegan. My phone is going crazy, man. Being vegan. Do you feel like more like being vegan versus meat? I'm thinking meat because when people eat soul food and that, they feel weighed down. Like,
Yeah.
being a vegan? Do you get the, what you call that? The igus. That's what I mean. Can you eat yourself and take an igus?
Absolutely.
You can.
Based
I'm
on
about to,
yeah,
yeah.
it's based on starch. Starch is what weighs us down. Meat is what causes sickness and disease. The starches and the sugars is what makes us overweight. And that's in any kind of food. If it's not more water based, then yeah, it can absolutely.
So I got a I got a quick question
Processed
real
food,
quick.
it's the same in veganism.
Processed food.
So
It's the same.
Okay.
so so I've slowly changed my diet over the years, and a common thing that I hear, because I've also wanted to go vegan because my wife was vegan when I met her.
Hmm.
Um, the common thing that I always get asked is that where is your protein going to come from?
Mm.
And I've always, from the research that I've done, I've always understood that the protein is within your plants.
Yeah.
Is
Protein.
that
Yeah. It consists of 21 complete amino acids, and it's not, those 21 aren't found in any specific one thing. You need to eat a combination of things. But cows eat grass only. That's their protein. And you eat that, you're eating what they eat. That's what makes them who they are. It's the plant-based things that they consume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's nutrition, it's all around. It's not one thing. We're not eating for protein. That's an American. Only Americans do that. Only Americans use that kind of language. The rest of the people eat veggies, they eat fruit. It's a combination always.
Yeah. And I thought I heard not doctor, maybe he is a doctor, but Dick Gregory. I thought I heard him say, or maybe it was the other guy who passed,
Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi. They said that protein was a myth or something, that protein doesn't exist or something like that. I don't know if you ever heard that before, but he said that protein wasn't a thing, and I can't really articulate it. I hate bringing up points that I can't really articulate it, that I know from front to back, right? But he said protein wasn't a thing. It's not really a thing.
Yeah, because it's cultures that have only been vegetarian or vegan throughout the duration of their culture, and they are those cultures are the healthiest. And they live the longest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and then how do you incorporate like bitters? Because I heard like lemon. Well, I guess that's all. Because I just heard like the importance of bitters when fighting off like certain diseases or what have you.
Yeah. Like we all have parasites within our bodies, and the parasites they like what we like. They like the sugar, they like the salt, and so and they like the negative emotions. And energetically, they suck your light. They suck your life force. And so the more you pour into your life force, the better you care for yourself. It can't really, have an effect on you if you're taking care of yourself properly. But the bitters, if they're not good to us, then whatever's in your body isn't going to enjoy it. So it's going to flush that out.
Mm-hmm.
Like wormwood is a bitter. It helps get rid of parasites. Epazote is an herb that you can get at most Mexican grocery stores, and it also gets rid of parasites, and that one is good.
What is it called? Can you spell that again?
EPAZOTE, Epazote.
Okay, Epazote.
And also gets rid of gas and beans.
I got a question. So my mom used to have this expression where she would say you had like because you were talking about parasites, is like a tapeworm one of those parasites?
It's a type of parasite, yeah.
Damn.
Okay, so and oh, were you done, Cam? I don't know.
What does the tapeworm do?
I'm not sure what that specific, what part of the body it sits in, because it can sit in your lower digestive tract, it can be in another organ, it can be in another place, but they oftentimes all reside in the gut. Yeah, because that's where your nutrients are at.
Is that why you eat so much?
Yeah. Some of them cause you because they're hungry. The more that they eat, the bigger that they get.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now it's a touchy subject. Cam and I've had conversations on other panels, and even amongst ourselves, well, on our own channel, and we talk about like depression.
Mm-hmm.
If someone, and specifically as a guy who I'm thinking about, who really, I don't know, we were having a hard time getting them to understand, or maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but it sounds like you're on the same page, that depression largely is a choice. Now, what do you?
It's not.
Okay, so all right, now, okay, go ahead. So explain, because, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because it's not a choice, because some people come into this realm and have certain chemical imbalances, and throughout the duration of their life, they'll then learn that to instill certain things in them, in their mind, into their brain, that can bring them balance. But you don't realize that until you're, an adult and can make your own decisions. So you can have it from early on, from childhood, and it cannot be categorized as such. And then, our environment affects us, and our environment is our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us don't have the means to remove ourselves from our environment. And so in order to keep your frequency high within your environment, someone has to teach you that. And or you have to have a strong will, a strong mind to pull yourself from that trauma. And oftentimes, a lot of us don't have that. And so if the majority of people don't have that, the reality is they're not choosing their own demise. They're not.
Gotcha. So we actually used we took an alternate route. We said we're not talking about chemical imbalances at all. We're just talking about like a regular guy who is basically saying, like, I've made choices in my life, and now I've been depressed, and this is where I'm at.
Yeah, that's remember, depression is a spirit. We're not choosing to get absorbed by certain spirits. We're just at a frequency. They operate at frequency. So if we drop our frequency, they get you, and you can't see anything. Consider everything is spirit. The way the spirit man put it, masculine and feminine, is a spectrum of energy. So if I'm only operating at this frequency, I can't see this frequency. And oftentimes the people at this higher frequency want those below the frequency to connect, but how can they? You only know when you know.
Mm-hmm.
You only can know if you know. And no matter how much fact, how much truth you feel you may be delivering to a person, it matters not, because they're not at that frequency to receive it.
All right. So, and this is what, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually, yeah, I'm not talking about someone who has a clinical. I do understand, just like autism or something I mean, I guess autism stems from something going on in the brain. I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah, that's more extreme on the spectrum.
right.
But what I just said, it was just in reference to those who aren't diagnosed with anything. Like
Hmm.
everything is frequency, and until a person gets to that higher frequency, they don't know where they're at. They can't subscribe to anything above that. So, if you're operating out of a higher frequency, you feel you are. In order for you to connect with those below that frequency, only love can do that. We oftentimes are imposing ourselves, imposing our ways of thinking, imposing our lifestyles onto those at lower frequencies, and it's not healthy.
Okay. All right. So maybe I misspoke. All right. And so what I'm saying is that depression in itself is not terminal. I'm saying it can be cured, or right, or can
Anything can be cured. Remember,
that okay?
sickness in the brain.
And that's what I mean as far as a lot of times when you try to talk to people. Okay, I don't know. You know who Andrew Tate is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right. So he has a video up. He considers himself the most Googled person on the planet, which is I'm sorry, which is actually pretty accurate. And he has a video up that says depression is a choice. It resonated with me because in his mind he said that I don't give anything power that's going to make me feel weak. So essentially that's you training your brain that this will not overpower me. A lot of times what I find, and I'm not a doctor or anything like that, and I'm not trying to uh, devalue or diminish anyone's situation or experience. But a lot of times what I find is that when you have conversations with people who claim that they're depressed, it's almost like they would rather stay in that than to actually seek help, because it's more comfortable to be a victim or to like be catered to, if you will, than to do the hard work and like work yourself out of it. And what I'm saying is, so when I say it's a choice, I'm saying it can be remedied if you take the proper steps, meaning, diet, change who you, I mean, I know you can't really change your entire environment, but a lot of times you can change who you listen to, who you hang around. You might have to still go back home to the BS, but you know what I mean? A lot of us don't really know that you can place people in three categories: full association, limited association, no association. Like I don't really, I'm, you know what I mean? Like there's so many, I can't really articulate what I'm saying, but
I got you. Yeah,
I don't use the three. I just use the two. You either asset or a liability.
well, some people. So I got a sister that I don't really rock with. I shouldn't say that, but she's in the limited. So, but because I can't avoid her totally. But anyhow, go ahead. So that being said, what I'm saying is that with what you're telling, with your knowledge of diet, meditation, prayer, and all of this, I want people to know, or at least believe, that they can actually get out of depression. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, and in response to Andrew Tate, he didn't always operate out of that frequency. So it took him trials and tribulations to get to that frequency, but still everybody isn't at that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So
oftentimes we're stuck in our trauma, we're stuck in our trials. And so remember, consider everything frequency. And so when you interact with those people, they're just operating at another frequency. So you're trying to pour your frequency into their frequency, and it's clashing because oftentimes when we're up here, we're still not loving. Right? We're still not being loving. And that's the only thing that connects all frequencies. The biggest thing is to have an open-hearted compassion for the next person at a lower frequency than you. If you are the observer and you're at this frequency, you should know that it's my responsibility to hold space, to have compassion, no matter whomever they are, no matter the level of suffering. No matter the level of suffering, I need to hold space
and being loving toward another human.
Facts.
I got to work on that because I'm not.
Yeah, because if not, then, if we're being judgmental of someone that's not in the same circumstances as us, oftentimes we like to belittle other men that aren't, on their shit. We feel they're not on their shit, but they're just operating in that trauma, in that another frequency. If you want to help them, be loving, be warm, be accepting, speak life. Because if you're not, you're being harmful.
No, that's real. That's real.
I gotta work on that.
And just to add a little more context, because I know what I said probably was it was kind of like a shoving of it as opposed to spoon feeding it, if you will. Like, so here's the thing: when you have a choice, that means you have options. If you don't have a choice, that means you have no options. So that's why I'm saying when I say
have to be aware. Remember, it's frequency. You have to be aware that you have choices, and in order to tap into the frequency of awareness, you have to raise your frequency.
And that's why I say you have a choice because okay, so and that brings me back to my point. I know what I said, it probably sound harsh, right? But now if you let people know that, sir, you do have choices, ma'am, you do have choices. Now we can explore what that looks like, because what happens is when people feel like they don't have a choice, it's like, what's the use? I'm stuck. I have zero options. You know what I'm saying?
I think oftentimes you can say it, but you have to be an example of it. You have to be an example of the choice.
I was depressed. And I experienced it. I wasn't clinically depressed, but I went through a period of life in time, probably about 6 months, where I wasn't eating. I was drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and staring at trees for 12 hours a day. Luckily for me, I had a cheat code. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes a part of success. I was reading this book. I forget what it was, but it was talking about people don't like to acknowledge the fact that some success is attributed to luck, right? So I'm lucky to have had my father in my life, who was a Vietnam vet, military man. So I kind of had that what do you call that? Drill sergeant type approach at times. He's a funny guy, loving. He wasn't as bad as his brother, my uncle, physically abusive, verbally abusive. My father was never that. But he gave tough love, right? So when I was depressed, and considering what I was depressed about, my father really drove home like, bro, what the hell are you doing? What you're depressed about is external and temporary. Like, you have a choice. You're choosing to let that external and temporary situation have you out here looking like you're on crack. And that resonated with me. I'm like, damn, I'm really doing this to myself because of my perspective. I hadn't really thought about the situation being external, temporary. I thought this was like, oh my God, life is over. And that allowed me to climb out, because I didn't really look at it as me having a choice. And again, I'm not talking about a chemical imbalance. I'm talking about where a lot of times we have people let situations prevent them from performing.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to mention, oftentimes we need someone to pull us out of it. You had a trustworthy male to pull you out of that, so he can say things to you and you will receive that. That's oftentimes people don't have that shit, and so they have people around them who they need to develop a trust in relationship. Trust can only be developed through care. Your father cared for you. He loved you, so you trusted the tone and the frequency that he was delivering the help to you, right? And so a lot of people won't be open to that kind of language.
That's real. And so how do you help if someone comes to you? Let's just say,
many people have come.
Okay,
and
so
how I help them is, I'm soft. I tap into my feminine self, that mother energy, that sweet energy, and then I go into my masculine energy and let them know that it's all in your head. You heal you. I'm not your savior. You have to believe that you can pull yourself out of this sickness, out of this disease, out of this depression, out of this anxiety. But both are required. You have to always have compassion. You have to be soft. Your tone matters more than anything, because it's a frequency.
I like that. I
gotta work on my tone, then. Yeah.
No, really. It's not me trying to be a tough guy or nothing like that, but I can think about, That it reminds me of a phrase that says, "People don't care what you know until they know that you care."
Yeah.
And I just sometimes I get so especially with men. I get frustrated with men who continue to make excuses, and so, and I need to work on that the
Yeah.
softer side to let them know that I care before they care about what I know. And I
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, because you're a father, you know that fatherhood is based on operating out of both your masculine self, and you have to know when to be gentle, and you need to, and when to be hard and stern.
Mm-hmm.
Both are required.
Yeah, it's
I
essentially
think,
the yin and the yang.
yeah,
Whereas,
I think it's harder for me. I would say I think it's harder for me to do that for a grown man that's making excuses, only because I feel like he's operating out of a position of femininity instead of tapping into his masculinity. And I I genuinely try to do my best not to judge, because at the end of the day, like, it took me a while to get to where I am, and I understand, like, it's a process for everyone else to get to where they want to be. But at the same time, it's like, as men, right? We grow up and the world doesn't coddle you. We're the first person to get punched in the face, because we can go outside and say, "Oh yeah, I'm the strongest man in the world," and the world is like, "Nah, you're
Yeah.
not." You know what I'm saying? We're the first to be humbled. So it's like, in a sense, if the world isn't gonna coddle you and tell you, like, "Oh, you can do it," like, why would you think another? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you think that I would want to
Yeah.
do that for you?
Yeah, but think about, the world has misconceived all of us, and
Yeah,
and what a man should be, how a man should be, how a woman should be, or what a woman shouldn't do. And this world has allowed us to believe that feminine energy is weak when it's the strongest, because it birthed all of us. It birthed this earth, Black women. So in order to do that, you have to be strong to endure all of the human experiences through a lifetime. And mama energy is so nurturing. When you're feeling away, you go to mama. You go to feminine energy to feel better. All of us do. All of us want sweetness. All of us want to experience love. And oftentimes that's packaged in a feminine vessel.
wow. Hey, you know what? And that reminds me of what another thing that the Taoists say, that that being soft, the soft. So when I talked about the yin and the yang, you got the masculine and the feminine, but you got a dot of each in both. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know specifically what you're saying. Yeah, you're masculine, but you got to have some of that feminine energy in you so that you can be nurturing when it's time to be nurturing. And so, like, to Cam's point, and what I was talking about earlier, is essentially, at some point, and I know you've counseled, you counseled men who you keep talking to them and they just want to stay in that space. It's like, I don't want help, I just want to complain, and that it kind of get frustrating at times. And so I got to learn patience. Now you said something just now that reminded me of something that you said earlier, and you said we're second to the oldest person on the planet, and you said, like, the Black woman.
The Black woman is the oldest being on this planet.
So you don't believe in Adam and Eve, that the story of Adam and Eve, or was Adam
No,
a woman?
sometimes it's scientifically proven. Like the oldest human is a Black woman.
Lucy?
Yeah, I think that's the name.
Yeah, they named. Yeah, no. They named. They named.
They
the
did
Lucy.
name of that. They did name of Lucy.
Yeah. So okay, all right, that's interesting, because that kind of debunks the story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Now that being said, so I'm depressed. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I'm depressed. I hear you do, the Reiki healing, the meditation, ambisonic sound healing. I come to you. What does that process look like for you to help me?
First, the conversation, and based on the conversation, spirit then gives me what you need, whether it be Reiki, sound healing, these herbs, the spiritual baths, all those things work with each other. It's never one thing. And so spirit gives me the answer to help each individual person. I can't take credit for it. I'm just tapped into the free. I'm open. I'm soft. So God rewards me and supports me in my mission to help support others in healing themselves, because no one can heal you. Only heal yourself.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll admit, brother. I want to be your friend. I got so much to learn from you, man. Like, really, for real.
Sure.
I got so much to learn from you because I know I lack some things, right? I'll probably lack some softer side. That ain't even me trying to be tough.
Yeah.
It's just my upbringing. Like I need to work on that. Because
Before I forget too, every grown man isn't a grown man. They just presents as a grown man, but that 16-year-old boy can be trapped in their grown man body. That's trauma. And when we saying, he was like, "Nigga, you grown. You gotta." No, fam, 17.
Damn. In a 45-year-old.
Precisely.
No, real. That's real shit.
Trauma. That's what trauma does. We get stuck in the age of our life that we experience the most trauma.
Yeah, what do they call that? I forgot. There's a clinical term for that, but I'll think about it.
I know for me, I definitely I lack a lot of compassion. I know in certain situations, like with my family, I'm very soft, I'm very loving. But outside of that, I know like the compassion piece for me is very minimal because of where I come from in Cook, and I'm pretty ZenFrankie, I'm pretty sure you know where we come from on the west side of Chicago, and even on the south side, how we grow up, it molds you in a way,
makes you hard.
It molds you in a way where, like for me, right? And Cook noticed, and I try not to even bring this story up, but when I first had my kids, I was riding a bike 3 hours to work every day. And that was just one way. And the dead winter of Chicago weather. And when I think about like that part of my life where I didn't make excuses, where I didn't tell people like, no, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. When I hear the can't part of it, my immediate reaction is, well, why can't you do it? Well, because I don't know. Well, why can't you figure it out? Well, I don't know. Well, how do you expect to get to a higher frequency or get to a higher level in life if you're not willing to take the leap? Right? Everything that we learn, we've learned over time. So even with you having let's just say you do a job for 25 years. And if that's not the job that you love, but you're scared to go somewhere else, just like you learn that skill, you can learn another skill. So it's really hard for me to have that compassion for someone that isn't willing to step out of their box of boundary and try to do something different to yield them a different result, ending in a higher frequency or a better position in life than they are right now.
Yeah. You mentioned something. You mentioned oftentimes we need to have an external factor, someone, something to help us distract ourselves to move forward. Your children were there for you.
So that's why you went hard, because it wasn't about you. You put you to the side. You risk getting frostbite. You put all of that to the side because of the care for your children, which is your feminine self, brother.
Hey, real quick, I got a few things right here, and I know Cam got to go shortly. So, so I wanted, this reminded me of, I told you about the Taoism, which is I think Taoism is Chinese or Japanese, one of them Asians. And so I remember this quote, but I didn't want to try to get it off the top of my head, so I looked it up. It says, "Water is fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong." Lao Tzu.
Yeah.
And I thought that is powerful what you say, man. That's why I got a lot to learn from you. And so that's what the Taoists mean by being soft, being pliable, because okay, so they use another analogy like a tree branch. A tree branch that is alive and well will bend a little bit, right? It will bend. But once it breaks away from the trunk and becomes dead, you snap it and it breaks. It can't yield. But now, so here's the thing I would say. I often say it to men who feel depressed, or I don't ever have discussions with women because I don't have the same expectations or what have you. But I often say that men who feel depressed need to accomplish something, and that's why I say, accomplish being an asset to somebody. And when you were talking about his kids, right, it's the same thing. Work on being an asset to somebody. Like give of yourself.
Being a giver, exactly. Giving your body, your mind fully. Yeah.
Watch how they use the return for you. Go work out. Build your body up. Complete that. Get a job, get 2 jobs. I don't know. Stay busy. Complete something. I often talk about the 3 C's. Completion brings competence, and competence brings confidence. So a lot of times we feel like we're not really accomplishing anything, and that's what slips us into quote unquote depression. So I mean that's been my advice to a lot of men. And hey, I might have pushed people away with the harsh tone, but I know there are a lot of men who came back and said, "Bro, I needed that.
Yeah,
and but I'm learning from you, bro. I'm taking a lot of
You have to understand, like, remove the physical self out of that man, and truly listen to the frequency that he's operating, whether it's more masculine and whether it's more feminine, and then you'll be able to observe and prescribe the medicine that that individual needs. That's why water water molds to whatever it's around, and that's what you want to be.
Be like water.
Yeah.
I heard Bruce Lee said, I know you've seen that. I'm sure you've seen that. Yeah. I really like that. I like the water part because when Bruce Lee explained it, and for those of you out there who haven't heard that, when Bruce Lee talked about being like water, I like the last part that he said, right? Because it brings about all the soft. It says, water is yielding, water settles in the low place, right? Water can take on many forms. It's peaceful when it's peaceful, but it also has the ability to crash and be destructive. And actually, I think that kind of speaks to what, I don't know if you ever followed Jordan Peterson, but he was talking about what a good man is. You know Jordan Peterson?
I don't.
Okay, all right. So Jordan Peterson, he actually talks about what a good man is, and he says a good man is a man who has the capability of being bad, but chooses to keep that under voluntary control.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're a man that if you can't necessarily be destructive, then you're a domesticated house cat. That's what just because you don't do shit don't mean you're a good man. Some men are just cowards. And so to that water piece, being like water, I like the fact that Bruce Lee put that on the end. He said that just like water, you should be able to, because that's the protection piece, right? I mean, men. I just say men should probably, if you want to be a dominant, well, whatever, leader, if you will, then you should be able to protect. That means you should be able to tear shit up, but leave it under voluntary control. So
Yeah,
that's just my
be in control of your emotions. Like,
right.
That destructive energy is in all of us, man, because of our strength. And because of that, we need to be in full control of our emotions, because if we're not, we'll be destructive to ourselves and or those around us, and not knowing it.
Yeah.
And we got to build each other up. Always build. Consider yourself in every interaction. Did I build this person up? That's
a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. And when I speak about being destructive, I'm essentially talking about when it comes down to, and sometimes people are just evil. People are just evil, and essentially, what he was talking about in that piece is Jordan Peterson. He was saying that you got to have a little evil in you to fight evil. Meaning, if you can't be destructive, then you can't defend yourself from someone who is dead set on being destructive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So you have to know how to transmute it.
Exactly.
That's all we're ever doing, transmute energy. Because if you become like them, then your evil is going to war with their evil. And those are demons fighting each other, and they love to fight each other.
Yeah. Cam, that glass loud as hell. I'm going to tell you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. But yeah, hey, Frankie, we gonna wrap it up, man. Bro.
Okay, before we wrap it up, can we take a moment to just settle?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Please. Yeah. So I'm gonna have us put our hands on our thighs. If you're sitting upright, allow your hands to rest on your thighs, your feet flat onto the floor, your shoulders relaxed, your back against the chair. Allowing your full self, full mind, full body to be completely present in this moment. Deep inhale in. Slowly exhale. Inhale even softer and even slower. Exhaling even softer. Last time, even slower, even deeper. Inhale in. Even slower exhalation. Dear God, ancestors, universe, and earth, thank you for this moment. Thank you for this collaboration. May we surrender to the love and the openness and expansiveness of our heart space, trusting and knowing that what resides within our heart can eliminate and transmute any unwanted energies and emotions. Another deep inhale and exhale. And so it is. Thank you. Ashe. You begin wiggling your toes, your fingers, welcoming your full self back. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready.
And I love that. Thank you for that. That was a bonus. Bonus. And the viewers got a bonus. Listen,
bro, I feel so light.
How can those in Chicago and around the globe in the Chicagoland area contact you and get in touch with you?
Yeah, my website is zenvegan.life. My Instagram is ZenFrankie. You can send me a DM. You can I have a comment box on my website where you can reach out. I'll get that email if you decide to. And those are ways you can connect with me.
Okay. All right. And then I actually have all of your information that you forwarded me. I had that in the description. So in case you guys weren't writing when he said it, refer to the description. It is at the bottom. I think I got your email address, all your information. So, hey man, thank you, brother. We enjoyed this.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you all. Blessings to you.
Yeah. Peace and blessings, man. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
And that'll do it. Thank you for rocking with us. Been another episode of Mindfully Misunderstood.
Make sure you guys get your shoes, get your coats, man.
Yeah, you ain't got to go home,
but you got to get the fuck up out of here.
Peace.
Peace.